There may be periods in your life where you just feel down, like nothing is going right and all of your problems are unfixable. You want to tell people how you feel, but the right words never seem to come out. During those times, you feel confused because you're unsure if what you're feeling is even real. You may know exactly what caused these feelings, yet somehow you can't seem to shake it off. It's almost like it's embedded inside of you like a lump of dark coal. You can feel the darkness that it emits within you. All of this can make a person feel like they're in a void, helpless, and lonely. Depression is something so many of us deal with during our lives. We experience it in different degrees, and for different lengths of time, and for different reasons. We each handle it differently, and we each have our own unique thoughts and feelings associated with it, but we are never alone. I remember a time in my life when I was depressed. I felt alone. I felt like no one understood me. I felt like I couldn't even explain how I felt. My problems seemed unfixable, and there's something that I learned that helped me overcome my depression and eventually got rid of it completely. I learned to have focus and passion. I began to train myself to concentrate on the things that I enjoyed and felt passionate about. I concentrated on hobbies and I started some projects. I focused on these projects and worked on them until they were finished. When I was younger, I liked to collect and make masks. I would start a new mask project and make it a task that would take me a few months or, a few weeks to complete. So every day when I'm at school or work and my mind started to wander to darker places, I immediately started thinking about my masks and what my next steps are for completing it. I did the same thing for songwriting, drawings, paintings, and even video games. I've always loved gaming, so if I got into a game I really enjoyed, like Guitar Hero or Siphon Filter, then I would think about that whenever my mind went to a dark place. Get myself pumped for the next level or challenge. Get myself something to look forward to rather than just dwelling and allowing my negative lump of coal to control my thoughts. Eventually, it began to feel like that dark lump of coal was getting smaller. The forces that were overcoming me for so long were going away, and I had trained myself not to dwell on things that were beyond my control. I learned that with every dark energy around us, there are several more positive energies waiting for us to absorb them. Those positive energies come from the things we're fond of, the things that are dear to us. And it's never good to run away from your problems. And I hope that's not the message I'm conveying. My message is to learn how to turn negative emotions into positive emotions. Some may refer to this as fighting your inner demons. Facing them head on is sometimes the only way, so if you find that you can't ignore them and make them fade away, then don't be afraid to stand up and confront them. Perhaps it was another person who hurt you. Tell them how you feel. If that person isn't approachable, then tell someone else how you feel about that person. Just let your mind spill out through your mouth with your words naturally. The weight on your shoulders will lighten, I guarantee it. As lonely as depression feels, you have to remember that you aren't alone, and any true friend or caring family member would be glad to sit and discuss matters with you. As difficult as it may seem, talking out your feelings is one of the best remedies. Perhaps it wasn't someone else at all, though. Maybe you did something yourself that caused your depression. You can't just let that burden of blame hold you down, though. People make mistakes. I know I have. The key is to admit those mistakes. Own up to them. Be aware of them and make that self-promise that you won't make the same mistake again. Getting over depression is all about moving forward down a positive path. There are many paths in life. You just have to pick the ones that are best for you. Supportive relationships are a must. Surround yourself with people who make you happy and who you get along with. If you don't feel that kind of connection with anyone, then try to meet new people. Even talking to people online is helpful and probably one of the best ways to discuss such personal feelings. People conversing online tend to be a lot more open with each other than if they were talking in person because they can actually articulate their words better and actually mean what they say. Another symptom for depression comes from people who don't believe in themselves or who don't think they're good enough. You have to accept the fact that you aren't perfect and neither is anyone else. Accepting who you are as a human being is a big part of overcoming a depressed state of mind, because once you're happy with yourself, you will begin to be happier overall. What other people think doesn't and shouldn't matter to you. The only person in control of who you are as a person is you, so be the person you want to be. Some other keys to getting over depression is to pay attention to the way your mind goes to dark paths. For example, you might apply for a job and fail to get the position. Someone who's depressed might have the attitude that they are just unable to get a job since they failed their first attempt. Don't let your mind take such drastic measures. Not everyone gets a job right away. The attitude should be eager to try again at the next job. Being discouraged when something doesn't go your way is a no-no. You have to learn how to accept faults and failures and use them as leverage to better yourself and move forward. Some depressed people will outright refuse that positivity exists at all. They could give someone a birthday gift and the person would say, "I love the gift, thank you so much." And the depressed person would assume that the gift was bad and that the recipient only said those things just to be nice. Turning positive vibes into negative vibes is a no-no, and you have to be self-aware of when this happens so you can work on preventing it. Jumping to conclusions is also something that depression can often lead to. Assuming you will fail at something before you even try it, assuming what other people think about you because you drive a certain type of car or wear certain clothes, assuming you're stuck at a dead-end job with no hope of a promotion, these types of thoughts are a no-no. Don't assume that the worst is always going to happen just because it's a possibility. The best is a possibility too, so focus on that instead. Assume you can achieve something if you strive for it. You want a promotion? Don't be afraid to ask your boss what it might take to move you up in the company. Assume people will treat you the same whether you pull up in an '87 Honda or a brand new BMW. Put your mind on that positive path. You also have to refrain from labeling yourself in a negative way. Depressed people often refer to themselves as idiots, losers, loners, failures, etc. You have to consider the fact that as humans, it is impossible for us to know everything, so everyone is an idiot in some regards to certain topics. We also can't win at everything either. We will fail tests, we'll get speeding tickets, we'll lose custody battles, we'll lose arguments, we'll lose bets, we'll lose friends. There is a lot of loss that takes place in our lives, so in that sense, we're all losers. Being a loner is a personal choice. Some people like being alone. But being alone isn't a bad thing unless you're forcing yourself to be alone when you really don't want to be alone. Call someone up, text a friend, go to a coffee shop and approach someone else who is alone. There's a good chance they might be looking for some company as well. The point is you can't beat yourself up over anything. It's just really not worth it. We all have flaws. We all make mistakes. We all have issues. It's the people that learn to accept those things and learn from them that live happier and more joyous lives. All of this obviously is easier said than done, but putting it as bluntly as possible, depression is something you just have to get over. Don't accept it as a lifelong condition. Treat it like it's something you know will pass eventually. Set a date in your mind somewhere in the future, as soon or as far away as you want, and tell yourself that by that date, no matter what, you will not be depressed anymore. Set some goals that you can strive for by that date as well, whether it's something like completing a course in a subject you're fond of or learning how to play a song on one of your favorite instruments. Put your mind to something that will actually benefit you as a person. Achieving some goals by the desired date will show you that you have what it takes to choose a positive path and go down it successfully. Don't be afraid to talk about your depression. As I said, everyone has dealt with it to some degree, and if you haven't, then you just haven't reached that point of your life yet. The universe is full of balance, and we couldn't have any of those extreme moments of joy and laughter if we didn't know what the pain of depression felt like. The following lyrics are from a song which I feel has a good message in regards to this topic. It's about living with burdens and demons and learning to accept them and move on. In a sense, it's sort of like a rebirth in a way, because there comes a time in your depression where you will be ready to face it and finally just put it behind you. Regrets collect like old friends, here to relive your darkest moments. I can see no way, and all of the ghouls come out to play. And every demon wants his pound of flesh, but I like to keep some things to myself. I like to keep my issues drawn. It's always darkest before the dawn. And I've been a fool, and I've been blind, and I can never leave the past behind. I can see no way. I'm always dragging that horse around. Our love is pastured, such a mournful sound. Tonight, I'm gonna bury that horse in the ground. So I like to keep my issues drawn, but it's always darkest before the dawn. And I'm done with my graceless heart. So tonight I'm gonna cut it out and then restart. 'Cause I like to keep my issues drawn. It's always darkest before the dawn. and it's hard to dance with a devil on your back. And given half the chance, would I take any of it back? It's a fine romance, but it's left me so undone. It's always darkest before the dawn. And I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. So here's to drinks in the dark at the end of my road. And I'm ready to suffer, and I'm ready to hope. It's a shot in the dark aimed right at my throat. 'Cause looking for heaven found the devil in me. Well, what the hell, I'm gonna let it happen to me. And those were lyrics to a song called Shake It Off by Florence and the Machine. Um, it's a really good song, and I always get a positive vibe, a positive message when I listen to it. And if I'm ever feeling down or depressed or, just overall in a not a very good mood, that's the kind of song I listen to that it lets me know that there is a positivity that is in my future, and I can put these negative things behind me and I can get over them. And even if problems seem unfixable, there are ways that they will work themselves out in the end. And you just gotta aim down that positive path and aim at that positivity and train yourself and dictate your own mind to go down the positive paths and not the negative paths. Anyway, guys, this was a little bit more of a serious commentary. I did this on behalf of some friends of mine. Like I said, I used to be depressed. I'm not depressed anymore. Of course, every once in a while I'll get the moody blues, and I'll be all down and gloomy. But I mean, I was depressed for a good 3 or 4 years. I thought it was never gonna go away, and eventually it did. And so anybody else that I know is depressed, I have friends who are going through some depression. I have relatives who are going through some depression, and I honestly believe that everybody at some point in their life goes through it to some degree. So I hope my commentary helped you guys, whether you're going through it or you have gone through it, or maybe you know somebody who's going through it. I hope what I said helped you guys. And there's always a drastic measure like medication and stuff like that, but I believe that there are ways to solve these types of problems without taking pills and resorting to those types of medications, because those can just lead to other problems. Yeah, they can help, but they can also lead to other problems like addiction and dependencies and stuff like that, and that's stuff that you don't really want to get into. It's better just to do it in a natural way, and to do it by creating your own positive light and creating your own positive paths. That's just how I feel. I mean, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor. I don't really have any credentials that really even give me the right to give advice on a topic like this, other than the fact that I've been there myself. I know how it feels. I know what people are going through. You know what I mean? Everybody deals with it differently. Everybody experiences it differently. Maybe my depression wasn't that bad. Suicidal thoughts are something that is associated with depression. I had them on a daily basis. Every day I was trying to think of a new way that I can possibly, end my own life, and it was something that I never wanted to do, but it was still always on my mind, and I'm glad I don't feel that way anymore, and I'm glad I didn't do it. I'm glad I didn't follow through with it, and I hope that if any of you are feeling that way, that you definitely talk to somebody about it, because that is not the answer to any of your problems. It's not the it's not the way you got to go about things. So associate yourself with positive people, talk to people about your problems, focus on things that you're passionate about, and set some goals for your future, and make sure you head down positive paths, and you will feel that negative lump of energy inside of you dwindle away, and eventually it will cease to exist. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. If you did, please like, comment, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. I'm getting really close to 1,000 subscribers. Really excited about that. Anyways, guys, I've been Vile Self. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.